Everything you've been told about learning is a lie. The smartest students in your class, the ones who seem to grasp everything, they're actually at a massive disadvantage. They're building houses on quicksand, while you're laying a foundation on solid rock. The reason you struggle to keep up isn't because you're slow. It's because your brain is doing something infinitely more powerful, something school never taught you. These 3 techniques will prove this to you in the next few minutes, and once you understand them, you'll never see your brain the same way again. Those fast learners everyone admires, they forget everything within weeks. They cram information into their heads like stuffing clothes into an overpacked suitcase. It looks impressive at first, but nothing stays organized, nothing lasts, and when they need that information later, it's nowhere to be found. Your brain refuses to work this way because it's built for something far superior. It's designed for deep understanding that lasts a lifetime. Here's the shocking truth. Nobody wants to admit it. Every single breakthrough in human history came from someone who thought differently. The person who figured out electricity, the one who created the first computer, the scientist who discovered DNA, they all shared one thing in common. They were called slow, weird, or different by their peers. Their brains refused to accept quick, shallow answers because they were built for revolutionary thinking. Your brain operates like a master craftsman, while others work like factory machines. Factory machines pump out products quickly, but they're all identical and fragile. A master craftsman takes time, with each creation, understanding every detail, building something unique and unbreakable. That's the difference between you and the speed learners. They're mass-producing information. You're creating knowledge that will last forever. The first technique that will transform how you learn forever is called power concentration. Most students spread their attention across multiple subjects for hours, thinking longer equals better. They're wrong. Your brain needs intense focus in short bursts to create permanent neural pathways. Take any subject and break it into the smallest possible pieces. Study one piece for exactly 20 minutes with complete focus. No distractions, no interruptions, just pure concentration. When that timer hits 20 minutes, stop immediately. Take a 5-minute break where you move your body, not your phone. Then, tackle the next piece. This works because your brain is like a muscle that needs recovery time between intense workouts. Those 20-minute sessions create what scientists call deep processing. Your brain literally changes its structure, building stronger connections that fast learners never develop. During those 5-minute breaks, something incredible happens, something most people waste completely. The secret isn't resting during those breaks, it's active recall. Ask yourself one simple question: what did I just learn? Then explain it out loud, without looking at your notes. Talk to the wall, your pet, or your reflection. This single act tells your brain that information is important enough to store permanently. Every time you retrieve information from memory, you make that memory stronger and more accessible. This leads directly to the second technique that will revolutionize your learning. It's called the simplicity test, and it comes from one of history's greatest minds. Richard Feynman won the Nobel Prize for unlocking secrets of the universe, but his most powerful discovery was about learning itself. He proved that you don't truly understand something until you can explain it in the simplest possible terms. After you learn any concept, pretend you're teaching it to a young child. Use basic words, create simple comparisons, and avoid technical jargon completely. If you struggle to explain something simply, you've found a gap in your understanding. That gap isn't a weakness, it's a gift. It shows you exactly where to focus next. Fast learners never find these gaps because they never test their understanding this deeply. When you explain gravity to a child, you don't talk about fundamental forces and planetary masses. You say, everything falls down because Earth acts like a giant magnet that pulls everything toward it. When your pencil drops, Earth is saying, come here, stay with me. This simple explanation reveals true mastery, while complex vocabulary often hides confusion. The third technique is where your brain's real superpower emerges. It's called connection mapping, and it's something fast learners struggle with because they never slow down enough to see the bigger picture. Your brain excels at finding patterns and relationships between ideas. When you take time to process information thoroughly, you naturally spot connections that others miss completely. Transform every piece of information into a story, or link it to something you already know. Learning about the water cycle becomes an adventure. Willie the water drop starts his journey in a peaceful lake. The sun's heat transforms him into invisible vapor, lifting him high into the sky, where he joins thousands of friends in a fluffy white cloud. When the cloud gets too crowded, Willie and his friends fall back to Earth as raindrops, beginning the adventure all over again. This storytelling approach works because your brain evolved to remember narratives, not lists of facts. Stories create multiple pathways to the same information. You can access the memory through characters, plot points, or emotional connections. Fast learners memorize isolated facts that have nowhere to stick in their minds. Math becomes just as memorable when you treat numbers like characters. Fractions are pizza slices being shared at a party. Algebraic equations are treasure maps, where X marks the location of hidden gold. Geometry transforms into a world where shapes have personalities and relationships. Abstract concepts become concrete through storytelling. But here's where the magic really happens. Once you master these 3 techniques, you unlock a 4th ability that changes everything. You become an incredible teacher. Because you've struggled to understand every concept deeply, you know exactly where others will get confused. You can predict their questions and explain things with an empathy that natural learners never develop. Teaching others becomes the ultimate test of your understanding. When you can guide someone else through the same confusion you experienced, you've achieved true mastery. This is why people who learn differently often become the most effective teachers, mentors, and leaders. They understand the learning process from the inside out. The most successful people in history prove this pattern repeatedly. Richard Branson built a business empire while dealing with dyslexia. Steven Spielberg created cinematic masterpieces despite learning challenges he didn't even understand until age 60. These individuals succeeded because of their different thinking, not in spite of it. Your brain isn't defective or inferior. It's a precision instrument in a world that rewards quick approximations. Those approximations crumble under pressure, while your deep understanding stands strong. Every time someone calls you slow, they're actually describing your greatest strength without realizing it. The education system taught you to see depth as a disadvantage because it values speed over substance. But real life rewards the opposite. The doctor who takes time to understand your symptoms correctly. The engineer who designs buildings that won't collapse. The teacher who can explain complex ideas simply. These people all think like you. Right now, choose one of these techniques and commit to using it for 20 minutes today. Break that overwhelming chapter into small pieces and focus intensely on one section. Explain your homework to someone using kindergarten vocabulary. Create a memorable story around those vocabulary words you need to memorize. Just 20 minutes of focused application will show you what your brain can really do. You're not a slow learner who needs to be fixed. You're a deep thinker who needs the right techniques. You're not falling behind, you're building something that will last long after the speed learners have forgotten everything they crammed. The world needs people who think thoroughly, ask the right questions, and can make complex ideas accessible to everyone. That describes you perfectly. Your learning style isn't a limitation to overcome, it's a superpower waiting to be unleashed.